Hi, welcome back to the Box of Delights. We're playing K2. We're starting our second turn. Remember, the first thing we do on a turn is select our 3 cards. I've got some high movement here. If I was playing multiplayer, then I'd be racing my opponents up the mountain to score the most victory points. But I can, I don't have to do that. All I'm doing instead is racing against the weather, really. I'm quite happy to sit here as long as I can using these poorly valued cards in order to get my acclimatization levels up as high as possible, I think. So let's keep doing that. Let's stay down at base camp for now, and we'll get rid of this card that's not particularly useful to me, and we'll play these. Remember, these other cards stay in my hand for now. And let's grab a risk token. I'm going to leave that 0 because that's a really useful one, and I might need that when I'm perhaps in a little bit more trouble. Let's pull a new one. Another 1. We're doing well on risk at the moment. And the weather's looking quite clear up ahead. Next turn it's going to be really snowy here, so I'm not that worried about getting up the mountain too quickly at this stage. So what I'm going to do is cancel this movement upwards with my risk token, discard this, and then I'm going to play these 2 acclimatization cards. So I'll put 2 acclimatization on this climber and 3 on this one. They're both at 5. And now we're ready to go climbing. Okay, acclimatization check. Both climbers are just outside base camp with a positive +1. So both their tracks go up to 6. That's a pretty good start. Now we're moving into this bad weather phase. So I think we should try and climb as close to 6,000 meters as we can get without actually going above it. Let's draw our 3 new cards. Some pretty poor ones in mind. Okay. You get the idea now that there's a real mixed bag of cards in here. You've got to use the higher valued ones when you really need them, because you can only choose 3 cards each turn. I think perhaps my climbers are going to have to split up a little bit. Let's get rid of this 0. Let's grab this 1 and let's grab this 3. And these are going to stay in my hand. Okay, I'm going to take another one of these 1 risk tokens. And I'm going to burn this by reducing one of my climbers' acclimatization levels by 1. Okay, well, we know this card's not going to do anything. And I've got 4 movement points. And with those 4 movement points, I'm going to move one of my climbers up. 1, 2. Now this space here, this is going to cost 2 movement points to move into. That's 3, 4. That's all my 4 movement. This climber's going to stay down here at base camp. We're still in the +1 on my acclimatization checks, so each climber's going to get +1. But during this acclimatization phase, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but 1 to 6 are in this lighter blue, and then 7, 8, 9 and 10 are in this darker blue. So what that means is, during the acclimatization phase, if your marker is on 7, 8, 9 or 10, it needs to drop back down to 6. So the idea here really is that during your actions phase, you could be boosting your acclimatization up and taking less pain from the effects of the weather and the mountain, but 6 is really the maximum. Alright, so if during the acclimatization phase your counter is ever above 6, pull it back down to 6. That's another turn gone. I forgot to draw another risk token. Let's do that now. Oh, this time it's a nasty one. It's a 2. Now we need to advance the weather token. And actually, I've just realised I've got these set up wrongly. The stack should be on this side. Okay. The way it works is, when you're travelling from left to right across here, when you move your weather token, your turn marker over, all you do is you lift that up, push it back to the left, and reveal a new tile. Alright, so our weather marker's always moving from left to right. And you can see we've got a nice few turns of clear skies now, and then the weather's going to start to set in, and that's bad news because we're going to be higher up the mountain at those stages. Alright, let's draw 3 more cards, and we get... That's a bit better, that's a bit better. That's what I wanted to see this turn, some movement. So we can get up, hopefully beyond 6,000 feet, 6,000 metres. Forgive me if I keep saying feet instead of metres, it's a force of habit. K2 is 8,611 metres, not feet. I think that's 28,251 feet, so quite a different, 28,000 feet over. K2 is the second highest mountain after Mount Everest, and it's the highest peak in Pakistan, in the Karakoram mountain range. I think this turn I'm going to do exactly the same thing again as I did last turn and bring my other climber up with me. So it's going to be 3-1-1. I think that's better than... Yeah, let's keep the 2 2s and the 1. Right, so these stay in my hand. I'm going to play these. I'm going to take the 1 risk again, cancel out one of these movements, and then I've got 4 movement points. Actually, no, I'll take the acclimatization hit with the risk, I think. That's the best thing. Yeah. Discard that. And we'll use all of these movements. One of the ones I'll move up here. That leaves me with 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's much better. These score track markers here, they move up with your climbers. So they kind of stay level here. It doesn't actually matter as long as they're in this little zone, because at the moment that's worth 1 victory point. You can see once they get above 6,000 metres, then they'll be moving into the 2 victory point zone. And as we get higher, we've got 3 victory points, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 10 at the summit. Let's grab another one of these risk tokens before I forget. We get a 1 this time, that's okay. Remember, the weather's really sunny right now. There's no impact on acclimatization or movement until we get 1, 2, 3, 4 more turns time. So we're looking pretty sweet for a while. Let's get up this mountain as quickly as we can. And these score track markers, they kind of act as a barometer. So if, for example, this mountaineer made it all the way up to here, his score marker would be up there level with him. And then if he came down the mountain, this score track marker would stay there. So you can travel up and down the mountain, and you might want to do that to, coming in and out of bad weather. His score track marker would stay up there to record the highest point at which that climber had reached. Okay, acclimatization checks then. So there's no effect on acclimatization for this climber now, but there is still a +1 here for this guy. So he goes back up to 6, and this one doesn't move. Move our weather marker, draw 3 more cards. And these are, yep, that's our last 3 cards. Okay, I think I want to just keep moving as quickly as I can, so I'm going to play these 3 cards. They stay in my hand. And I'm going to take the 1 risk, replace it with a new one. That's a 2, so I've got 2 2s and a 0 there, so it's starting to look a bit more tricky up ahead. I'm going to take this risk and reduce one of my climbers' acclimatizations back down again. And to start off, I'm going to take these 3 cards for 3 movement, or those 2 cards for 3 movement rather, and I'm going to move up my second climber 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that moves this climber into the 2 victory point zone. That's those 2 cards spent, and then with this card for 2 movement, I'm going to move my other climber alongside him. You can see there's a little flag here actually. So this tells you the victory point zone that you're actually in right now. He moves up here as well. This time on acclimatization checks there's neither a positive or a negative, so that stays where it is. The weather is just fine. We'll move that up. Since there's no cards left, we're stuck with just the 3 cards that are left in our hand, and then at the end of this turn we will draw a full 6 cards. So you've kind of got to spend the whole deck every time you go through the rotation of the deck. I'm definitely going to get rid of one of these 2s. Let's draw another. A couple of 0s. Okay, that's going to make that great. I'm going to use that when we're in rough weather. That's excellent. It's going to be quite tough though. Incidentally, this risk token can only be assigned to a climber who's had 1 or more cards assigned to them. So I can't just, leave a climber with no cards to take the risk. It has to be a climber who's moving or using cards this turn. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is take these 2 movement, and these are up and down ones, but I don't want to go down, I do want to go up, but it's got a total of up 1, up 2, so that's a total of 3. I'm going to use my 2 risk token to cancel this one out, so I've just got a movement upwards of 1. And with that, let's take one of my climbers up 1 spot. This is going to be quite tricky. I'm alright in the 6,000 to 7,000 zone because I can have 2 climbers in the same space, but once I get above 7,000 feet I can only have 1 climber in each space. So you can see there's different routes I can take. I could take 1 climber up this way, I could bring the second climber the same way, but then we're going to be struggling over space because we can't be both going up the same route at the same time. Yeah, we can't both be on the same space at the same time. So I've got a choice at this junction here whether to go 1 climber this way, 1 climber that way, or bring them up together. Anyway, that's done. So discard that risk, and I've got my 1 acclimatization card now, and I'm simply going to play that on my other climber, bring him back up to 6 again. Now we get to shuffle these to form a new stack, and we're going to draw 6 more cards. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we get a good mix. Lots of blues. That might be alright. That might mean we can take a few risks, but we're not going to climb very fast. Let's move our weather token. Doing it right this time. Forecast is looking pretty mean in the middle here, but we're still on sunshine now. We're going to be moving up into this bad weather, and this is going to make things a little bit tricky.